YPCCC is pleased to announce that we have a new version of the Climate Change in the American Mind, or CCAM, interactive dashboard, or the CCAM Explorer. You can also download the full data set, which includes 31 waves of data from the Climate Change in the American Mind study from the Open Science Framework. So the tool and the data set include data from 2008 to 2024, and it lets you, the user, investigate changes in Americans' opinions about climate change over time and across different demographic and political groups. So, under the Climate Views by Demographics tab, you can see that younger Republicans are much more likely than older Republicans to believe that climate change is happening and that it's human-caused. 57% of Republicans under 35 believe climate change is happening versus 43% of Republicans aged 55 plus years, a 14-point difference. That's nearly triple the difference among independents, 5 points, and much larger than the difference among Democrats, 94% for 35 to 54-year-olds and 93% for others. Likewise, 35% of young Republicans, 18 to 34, and 38% of middle-aged Republicans, 35 to 54, compared to only 28% of older Republicans, are worried about climate change. Among Democrats, however, climate change worry is high across all age groups, with just a 4-point age difference, 93% of 18 to 34-year-olds versus 89% of 55 plus. A key finding, in some cases, the differences between younger and older Republicans are nearly as large as the difference between Democrats and Republicans. An even larger gap, 49% of younger Republicans versus 30% of older Republicans support transitioning the U.S. economy to 100% clean energy by 2050, a 19-point difference. Among independents, the difference between younger and older age groups is 8 points, 72% versus 64%. Among Democrats, support is similar across all age groups, 92%. Meanwhile, majorities of Republicans, 54 years old and younger, independents and Democrats of all ages, and nearly half of older Republicans, 47%, support teaching global warming in schools. In addition, since 2008, an increasing majority of Americans have perceived global warming as a threat to future generations, increasing from 60% in 2008 to 72% in 2024. Americans also increasingly understand that climate change is not distant in time and space, but a current threat to people in the U.S. Since 2012, a majority of Americans have believed that climate change will harm the U.S. a great deal or a moderate amount, currently 64%. And since 2018, a majority have believed that global warming is harming the U.S. right now, currently 57%. Amidst a growing number of extreme weather events in the U.S., such as the recent wildfires in Los Angeles, heat waves in the Southwest, and hurricanes in North Carolina and Florida, it's important to continue to communicate the ways in which climate change is affecting people in the U.S. right here and now, and will for future generations unless we reduce carbon pollution. So you can explore the CCAM Explorer by navigating the 3 tabs at the top of the tool, which are Climate Views by Demographics, Climate Views over Time, and Politics and Climate Views, to view detailed data breakdowns. You can also customize the data displayed on each tab using the drop-down menus. Understanding Americans' climate change beliefs, worries, and policy report, and how these views vary among political parties and demographic groups can really inform climate change communication and advocacy and policies. We hope that this data will be useful to you and your work, and as always, reach out if you have any questions.